am Matthew Wright. Welcome to Wednesday's Right Stuff, the show that saw off Speaker Michael Martin. That's what they're saying. The press might have been railing against him for ages, but he didn't quit, did he? We asked yesterday, though, should he go? And seconds after the Right Stuff finished at 10:45 a.m, he announced he was off. Good result all round, I reckon. But who should replace him as Speaker? That is the question everybody is asking. You won't be surprised, of course, to hear that Westminster insiders have been giving us at the Right Stuff a few tips. Contenders include loudspeaker, Speaker's Corner, and that 15-year-old brat Duncan Clever Harrison, who won BBC Two's The Speaker. I think that's enough speakers for now, don't you? Let's meet the panel instead. First up, it's comic Steve First, ladies and gentlemen. Who appears to upset some of our more sensitive viewers north of the border.
Hi. Bad beginning for any... I mean, if you're going to officially complain, dear sir, / madam, to whom it may concern, me, I've been watching this morning's show and was surprised to find one of the guests impersonating the common speaker, Michael Martin. So I did a kind of off-the-cuff impression of him doing his apology. And they said the panel and audience seem to enjoy this, if the laughter is anything to go by. I don't have a problem with this. Well, you clearly do, because you've written in. But I wonder if the speaker had been of Asian origin, would it have been seen as acceptable to laugh at the impersonation? You weren't laughing at the fact that he's Scottish. It was the fact that I was doing an impression of the speaker.
Yes.
Now, if I'm doing an impression of Imran Khan and I want to start talking like Imran Khan and doing a very particular Pakistan accent that when I was educated at Eton, that's not being racist, that's doing an impression of Imran Khan. Then it goes on to say, my point is that the fact that the speaker is Scottish is irrelevant to the issue. Yes, irrelevant!
All opinions welcome, though.
Yes.
Next to see, we have Carol Thatcher, ladies and gentlemen. Carol Thatcher. A vision, a vision. And you've got a weekend ahead, haven't you?
Well, I'm going off to Italy if I can get out of here in time to catch the plane at Terminal 5. So on Friday you'll see me sprinting past the camera.
Why are you going to Italy?
I'm going with my mum, who's possibly going to see the Pope next week. So that's
right?
Quite something, isn't it?
Wow. That scene is my nightmare.
And on so many levels, Scott, I can understand. But I am fascinated. Is there a reason for I mean, other than obviously meeting the Pope? I mean, I'm surprised.
I'll ask her and let you know tomorrow, Matthew.
OK, it's nothing to do because Tony Blair's been and... anything
oh,
like
I don't think so. Oh, I don't think so. No, I don't think the Vatican does one-upmanship, Matthew.
Because I still can't get over Tony Blair telling the Pope how to run his church, which I found quite extraordinary.
No, I wasn't remotely surprised.
Because I'm fascinated with your mum will give the Pope a handbagging as... that was it wasn't the old days. Handbagging. I love that. Well,
shall I pop in next week and tell you all about it?
Yeah, I want to know.
I think they'll have it on Have I Got News for You. I'm sure it'll be a photo op. With their heads superimposed on each other's bodies. If you ask me. But anyway, there you go.
Scott Capurro, ladies and gentlemen. Good to have you back. Good to have you back. The Perrier award-winning comic has a new show. Scott Capurro Goes Much Deeper, which starts at London Soho Theatre on Monday. And knowing you, Scott, it's not going to be about fluffy bunny rabbits and things like that, is it?
Unless that's a euphemism. No, it won't
no.
be. No, it'll be about what's going on right now. A lot about Obama, too, and how he gets away with so much because of his name. And then we'll be talking about other things, like my mother passed away on March 1st, so I'm trying to find the comedy in that. Yeah, I really miss her. She's my best friend, but, you know, we'll find some humor in it somewhere. I mean, I feel like I have to talk about it. If I don't, I'll feel like I'm lying, so...
So, no, I mean, that's the thing about your comedy is, I mean, you go places that perhaps many other comedians may choose not to for
I don't
fear
know.
of offending people, I suppose.
I just talk about what I think is funny, and there's got to be some way to deal with that kind of, you know, that kind of angst about losing someone so close to you, so I'll be looking for it. And other comics have written shows like that. It's hard when you're so close. Steve must say, when you're so close to something, it's difficult to find the humor in that, you know. Like, your anger about that letter was funny. But I think when you're that close, to a subject matter, I mean, I think that's the comic's job, is to find out how it's amusing, how you can kind of dig your way out of it.
I know you've done sort of gags about Maddie McCann and stuff in the past. I mean, what is the worst response you've had from somebody at one of your shows?
Well, in Cardiff last Saturday, some guy tried to strangle me.
Oops.
Yeah.
But had you asked him to first, or this was...
Funny you ask, because he was quite 19 and had nice, soft hands. But he,
Well, that makes it all right then, doesn't it?
it's as closest I'll ever come to having sex with Prince Harry. But anyway, he ran across just after my set. I felt kind of, oh, well, that went well. I'm kind of, you know, swaggering off stage, kind of a bit, you know, oh, look at me in Cardiff. And then apparently he ran across the stage and came out and he tapped me on the shoulder. I thought, oh, he's going to compliment me. I was, yeah. And he said, did you make fun of my friend? I'm like, I don't know your friend. He grabbed me by the neck. And the security guards saw it happening, so they let it go on for a while because they saw it was me. And then they yanked him off of me, and they kind of, and then he was all apologetic, just drunk, really. Yeah. And I said, since he's drunk and young, let me take him back to my hotel, because I can do some outreach, some deep tissue work, you know, and some...
Last time... I can feel my buttocks clenching.
No.
It's got nothing to do with that.
Why do you tempt me? It's too early.
I don't know. Last time you were here, you were going off in the evenings and hosting a sort of, well, one-man show live on stage. And I know you had politicians coming by and stuff like that. Ken Livingstone, is that right?
Hilarious. The campest camp of all the camps. Ken Livingstone. He just really works a gay room so well. I mean, it was the Vauxhall Tavern, which is primarily a gay pub, and he had his hand on my leg, and it was winky, and then he announced he's running for mayor again in 2012, and the crowd went wild, of course, because they're all supporters of Ken Livingstone. Sorry. And things have moved on a bit.
It's Boris you want to say sorry to.
No, it's true, it's true. I think Boris is going to move on, too. He announced that Boris might be our next prime minister, right? Carrying on a long, glorious tradition of the Tory party.
Yes.
That some people find, I think, dismaying, but I think he's going to run again. And so it's really interesting. People, I think, felt like they could say what they felt like saying because there were no cameras, they were not plugging themselves. Really exciting. And we're going to do another series in the fall, and you're going to come on, right?
Yeah. I will be there. I will be there.
Really?
I'm going to do a turn.
Really?
Yeah. For you, Scott, I will do anything. Most things. Not that thing. Not that thing. So where can we see you? Where can we see you?
I'm at the Soho Theatre next week, Monday to Saturday, doing Going Much Deeper every night.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the way you look at me like that.
I like your haircut.
Thank you very much. Not too much product?
No, it's all right.
Okay,
it's all right. It's just spiky, just enough.
Should we crack on with the show?
Okay, sure.
Okay. Here's what's coming up on the programme. Scott is going to take us through this morning's headlines. Our first talking point. Cheers for that, Kirsty. And I am a huge fan of Paisley, I have to say. Brilliant.
I'm
Glad
not.
it's making a comeback. Scott, let's have the headlines.
She was very sexy this morning, by the way, with her curlers in her hair. It brought back memories. The first story is about deflation. Apparently, the price index is dropping now. It says so in, what am I reading?
Are you worried about deflation, Scott?
The daily. I'm not. I'm a disposable income person.
Right.
I'm a gay man. I don't have a car or a child, so I have a future. And I don't really care what happens unless it's about me. But apparently, energy bills are going to drop for a bit, and then things are going to go back up again.
This is the bit with deflation I think everybody struggles with, is that on paper, it sounds like good news, that, you know, everything's getting cheaper. What we forget is that for millions and millions of people, their wages, wage rises, are pinned against the retail price index. The retail price index is influenced by the deflationary figures. Therefore, you're going to start losing money in your pay packet, even though things are getting cheaper.
And things don't drop that much. Energy prices will go down 1.2%. It's not that much. I don't think anyone would even really notice the difference. But they will notice when prices go back up. I think, you know.
I reckon. OK, so that's deflation. And a much larger level than Alistair Darling have been predicting as well, isn't it? So
right, yeah.
Double, so.
Yeah. It's all scary out there.
Yeah.
And the Daily Mail, again, talks about this ad. It's official. You can mock men in adverts, but not women. Apparently, this ad has been approved, although it got a lot of calls by complaints from people. It's for an oven product.
Actually, I mean, it's
673 complaints.
Which is an enormous number.
And all this is a woman saying, it's so easy to clean this oven with this product that a man can do it. And apparently the guy looks a bit, you know, and
we have a little clip. It's very little, because I don't want to show you the actual product in detail because they haven't paid for it. Have a look at this. That's that's all you're going to get on the ad. What I find astonishing is, I mean, that is about as offensive as the ad is. It's a man, you know...
But you can see the product.
You can see the product, but yeah, but it's a bit
What are you
blurred.
talking about? Well, a little bit.
Like,
you know, I clean my oven all the time. I don't know.
Do you?
Yeah, do you clean your oven?
I do occasionally.
Yeah.
But it is
How
very,
often,
very...
How often do you clean your oven?
Oh, once a year.
Yeah.
But no, but can I say, I'm very diligent about putting stuff in the oven, so it doesn't tend to get very messy.
Yeah, I use mine for storage. So, is that what you mean?
Yeah,
OK,
pretty much. Yeah.
the crucial thing here is...
Jumpers.
Yeah.
They're saying that the advert is offensive to men.
Right.
Because it portrays us as lazy.
Right.
And yet, there's been no complaint I've held there. But I don't know, it's just very odd. I just can't get over that 673 people have enough time in their lives to write in to complain about that advert.
Do you clean your oven?
Do you know, the truth is, I'm working out about it basically once every 5 years.
Really?
But I don't use it very often.
You have a cleaning
I'm more of a...
person,
No, I don't. No,
You don't?
No. I'm more of a hob man myself.
Oh.
Stir fries, that
Stir
kind of thing.
fries,
Boil in the
stew.
bag,
I think
cod.
that's enough mundane.
So wait, you clean your windows? You don't have someone come in and clean your
I
house
clean
for
my
you?
own windows.
Really?
Yeah.
You do? Why?
Because I do a better job.
Oh. Wow.
Change your window cleaner.
Yeah. Are you a Virgo?
No, I'm Cancerian.
Really? I'm Sagittarius.
How does that affect anyone's window or oven cleaning ability, please, chaps?
Astrology?
The astrology.
Yes. It just does. It just does, apparently.
Come on, crack on.
Okay,
What else we got?
the next is from the Sun, and we found the missing link, apparently. So 47-million-year-old fossil has been discovered in a pit in Germany. God knows what they were looking for. And they found
it's
this...
on a mountain bike, isn't it? Or is that... No, it's the graphics. That's my eyes again.
All right. No, yeah. God, you're getting old, but it's part of your charm. And they've nicknamed this skeleton Ida, and it's apparently, David Attenborough says, it's going to tell us about our past and what mammals we're connected to.
Okay.
It's the oldest skeleton they've ever found.
Okay. Okay, interesting.
And then, speaking of missing links, Matt Lucas has said that he can be turned by Cheryl Cole. She's the only woman he'd ever consider having sex with. However, it would have to be on a beach because he's a lesbian. And it's got to be on a nice beach, not a pebbly beach, a sandy beach. Perhaps...
It doesn't say that.
It does, too! Perhaps... Herne Bay is what he...
Does as well.
It does, yeah. He wants a nice, soft, sandy beach to have sex
Is there anybody out there that
with
could turn you, Scott?
this woman. Well, every time I go on a yoga retreat, which I did, I went on a yoga retreat in Spain, I get crushes on the girls, because we all do yoga, we're all bending, we're all rolling over each other, and women are so sweet because they cook for you, you know, and they know their place. So yes, in a situation like that, because they're so accessible, they're right down the hall.
Any celebrity women out there that give you a throw?
No, they're too needy. But I think the point is...
I'd heard Kate Moss was somebody that caught your eye.
Oh, right, we had dinner together recently
Did
in
you?
Paris. Yeah, well, she didn't know that. But
She didn't know... Oh,
we were in the same restaurant. I walked by the table about 80 times. And I'm like, hey, Kate. And she's like, no. And then I thought she was all right, but she's short. I was surprised. I was. I thought she'd be tall, models and everything, right? And I need a tall one. I'm quite tall.
Yeah.
I need a tall woman, a tall, successful woman with a bit of power.
Don't fall for his charm, Carol. Nicely done, Scott. What have you got, Carol?
in the papers, you
Yes,
mean?
yes, yes.
Well, the Daily Telegraph... Odd you should mention it. The Daily Telegraph is not just upright, ordinary folks who are absolutely outraged by the MP's expenses scandal. A former speaker, no less, Betty Boothroyd, who was actually Britain's first woman speaker, now Baroness Boothroyd, has said in the Daily Telegraph, ministers cared only for perks of power. Well, I think she's absolutely spot on there, but it was a withering statement. It's quite unusual for former speakers to say anything about their successors. And basically, her message is that, you know, the Commons has sort of, I say, toboggan downhill.
Well, it's from the very highest level down, isn't it? It's what she's saying. It's ministers, not just rank and file back bitch MPs. You know, the rot is it's riddled.
And it needs some rehabilitation that we're going to be talking about later in the show. And will we believe it when it happens? Will we be convinced? Moving on, still MPs, I'm afraid, but moving on newspaper-wise to The Independent. And this has a headline, Hogg stands down to spend more time cleaning his moat. Now, in the old days, if you left politics, it was to spend more time with your family or something sort of fluffy, wasn't it? Well, this actually is a story about a Douglas Hogg, who famously, in the expenses for, I think, claimed over £2,000 to clean out his moat. Well, now he'll have plenty of time to do it
He did
himself.
pay it back, of course, it's worth saying.
Thank you, Matthew. He's going to stand down.
What's in his moat to begin with?
And how do you clean
Fish,
it? Come on, you oven and
frogs.
window cleaning types. How do you clean a moat?
Well,
I don't know. You
shopping trolleys.
You hire a Polish girl in a bikini. That's what I would do.
The Independent. Back to the papers, if you don't mind, chaps.
There's no, you're only joshing.
I'm kidding.
The Independent suggests
Slovakians
that...
are much cheaper. Go on.
Independent suggests that other MPs will also be standing down, a sort of case of jumping before you're pushed down. A foodie item in the Daily Mail. Boil an egg, that's too hard for us, say children. A survey done by one of the supermarkets discovered that 3/4 of 10 to 16-year-olds can't boil an egg.
3/4?
But this is a no-win situation. Supposing every 10-year-old could boil an egg, you'd have health and safety jumping up and down in outrage because they're too near to boiling water.
Yeah.
Little darlings might get burnt and so on. I could boil an egg. I like mine very well done. I just put them on the day before.
Okay, wow, that's really well done.
This is still the Daily Mail. Still the Daily Mail. Ah, yes, I love this one. The headline here is "How to Keep Cool in a Heat Wave: Paint your house white." Now, that's fine, but we don't really get sizzling
What
temperatures
heat wave?
all that often in the
Did you
UK.
say a heat wave in your colon? Is that what you just said? A heat wave what? Oh, colon. Oh, right. You're reading the... Okay.
I'm reading aloud. Steve will be allowed to impersonate me in a minute, if you don't mind. Anyway, the Department of Health has put out a 39-page heat wave plan for England. But do we know if the heat wave's on its way? Well, the Met Office gives us limited assistance here. It's prepared to predict that June to August is odds-on to be a barbecue summer, but given the vagaries of the British climate, it's keeping its options open for the rest of the summer. Is this weather forecaster sitting on the fence again?
I reckon. It doesn't look too hot out there at the moment.
No, look.
No, we had
I
summer.
love
It
you.
was 20
I do,
minutes
I love you.
yesterday. It's 20 minutes.
Come on then, Steve, what have you got?
The first story is in the Telegraph, page 11. This is a kind of people power story about all Gurkha veterans will be given the same right to settle in Britain. Ministers will be...
Do you think if Joanna Lumley stood for Parliament, she would get elected?
Yeah, of course.
I think she
With
would.
a landslide.
With a landslide. I
If
mean,
Kilroy Silk,
no.
you know, there are likeable celebrities and there are not so likeable
Yes.
celebrities. She's
done a
obviously
good job, though, Joanna
She's
Lumley.
done a
She
great
really
job,
has.
and there's kind of, I mean, it just goes to show that with a bit of kind of, I mean, the Telegraph are also taking ownership
The
of
most astonishing
it.
thing of all
Yeah.
is that they were actually planning not to let the Gurkhas leave.
That's right.
That's the bit that still gets me.
It was a very easy, quick U-turn, and I think that's very encouraging that you can still kind of go, and they go, oh, all right then, we'll turn it round. It is as easy as
Why
that.
are they planning to not let them live here, though? Is it just trying to look tough on immigration?
Well, it was a precedent-setting thing that, well, they'll all come in and they'll all want... all those people that have stood up for the rights of this country and its
laying
people...
down their lives.
Yeah.
And,
They'll all want to
their
stay here.
Okay.
God knows why they'd want to anyway. Story in the Daily Mail, page 15. Have you heard the hum? This is a story... It's not really a story. This has been going on for many, many years. People, you might wake up sometimes and go, I can hear a hum. I can hear a hum. I could hear it for
air
years.
conditioning unit.
Well, I could hear it for years. It was called my ex-wife. It's a joke. I apologise. I love her still very much indeed. Anyway, no. Basically, you can hear it from factories. You might be able to think you can hear it from base
general
frequencies.
noise.
And weirdly, they've said, you know what? It's just if you've got very, very acute hearing.
Surely if it's just there all the time, you just eventually cancel it out?
Some people do, but they just say, you know, in times of stress and if you're in real danger, you can literally hear a pin drop. They're saying that with certain people, that's their state of hearing all the time. So bass frequencies, which are harder to hear, you're picking it up. So anyway, so that's... this is a story in the Daily Express, page 31. A romantic racing fan proposed to his girlfriend by naming a race, and he named the race, what was it? It was very, very sweet. Pay for the opening sprint at the Southwell Racecourse to be named the Will You Marry Me Jodie Baker Maiden Auction Stakes.
He found a maiden. Good for him.
Yeah, a nag maiden. And she said yes, but it does beg the question, of course, you could name a race anything. You could say, pack your bags, I've been sleeping with the au pair stakes.
Yes, indeed.
So, and this is an unbeatable story. I challenge anyone to beat this story today. This is in the Times, page 4. Meet the Marleys of Ilfracombe. They are really Bob's long-lost cousins. Bob Marley, the famous reggae icon and singer, his father was white, a naval officer. His mother was black.
That's right.
Which obviously meant that there was a white side of the family from England. They were on a different page of the census in Ilfracombe, so that part of the family were largely ignored about 100 years ago. So they never kind of researched it properly. They've researched it now, and basically it's Carol and Michael Roberts. Yeah, well, and they live in Ilfracombe, and they actually call themselves country bumpkins. This is not me. I'm not saying that people from Devon are. Our floor manager is. But it does beg the question that the Wurzels could probably get together and re-record No Cider, No Cry, Scrumping, I Shot the Vicar, and you could go on and on and on. But I think it's a brilliant little story.
Nicely done, guys. Nicely done. After the ads, we're asking if you trust MPs to clean up their act now they've got rid of the Speaker. Has enough been done, in your view, to restore order? Or does more need to happen at a general election, perhaps, so you can let your MP know exactly what you think of them? 0207 173 5555 is the number for your thoughts. Will this plan to hand control of expenses to an independent body end MPs' abuse of our money? A chance for you, the people who funded this gravy train for far too long, to tell the country what you think after a short break. Don't go away.
Under the proposed changes, MPs will still be able to claim for hotel bills, gas bills or food bills. Find out after the break.